You are one of the few people who have actually, you're an entrepreneurship in this, you're an entrepreneur in this industry, starting Sports KPI. So that too, Sports KPI is something that you started, which is not even related to a club or league. It's a separate sports entity on its own. And this is something that, other than cricket in India, we're lacking in like so much. So how important do you think it is for in terms of entrepreneurship? I'm talking about how do you think it is for people to look towards this industry, to invest in it, not only in the big clubs and leagues, but into smaller aspects of the different sports?
So far, I think by the time we entered in the market, and also the way the market is right now, I think it's amazing. Let's say we never had, companies like Dream 11 which is into more of fantasy, or even though let's say fitness as an industry has been not been there. And as you know, sports infrastructure as a business or as a service was now being implemented. You could have so many grounds, so many football turf being put up, and people don't mind spending money and playing there, right? So that was not something which has been come up, and now there are so many options and opportunities have really come up. That has also helped up to get into more of grassroots level and the amateur market. Okay, so there's a lot of opportunity which lies in these two market, where people can be able to go there to play for fun, make sure you get the best of the equipments, and make sure you get the levels of trainings which was done at a professional level as well. Okay, so I always look at like a pyramid kind of a structure. So on the top is all the professional guys who play there, but again the number of teams play in that kind of setup. You have a middle segment, more of semi-professional and amateur sports who play there. It could even be a corporate tournament, a huge set of people come in. The below the bottom is a grassroots, right? All the kids, the trainings, coachings. There are so much things is happening across multiple set of, and parents are actually able to spend a lot of time, effort in order to make sure that coaching is being done at a much more best level, right? So that kind of education has already come up. People have started investing on time and money into this, and that opens up opportunities for many players to take up this, sports as an entrepreneurship, as a career, but entrepreneurship is all about problem solving. If you can find out a problem in any of these areas, and if you think, hey, I want to go and solve that problem, and then there are a big amount of market opens up for you, right? So it's all about identifying the problem and coming with a solution for it, right? So instead of looking at the things like, okay, there is an opportunity, what I can do, go identify a problem, and if the problem is big enough, and the market is going to be big enough for you. So that's how the overall thing is coming in.
And what's your take on the scope or the growth of the sports industry right now? It's we are at a stage where we're still growing. So how would you approach it if someone has wanted to look to invest in it? How would you approach this problem?
Let's say in Indian context, look at the market or the size of the market. I think the biggest is also from a fan perspective. So many have gone ahead and say that, how do I engage fans? How do I make money? And then how do you make sure engaging the fan becomes much more a lot of money, right? Anyone who's going to invest money in any company is going to look at the scale perspective. How quickly the company can scale, how quickly the market is, can I go for the international market? Is the Indian market big enough for them? And how are they consuming that information? And now, yes, the trend is also gone to esports, where a lot of millennial are consuming that kind of a game much more better, much more faster than the typical traditional players and coaches which really come up. So, as I say, the investment definitely will come up if there is a major problem which has to be solved, and if that solution can be much larger, the market is much bigger, and there will be definitely people who would like to invest in these kind of scenarios. So we are at least in a much better position wherein the market has improved now. As I said, the way I look at 5 years back, what the sport was, look at now the amount of parents putting money in, the kids playing the sport dedicatedly, morning or evening. There's a lot of infrastructure coming into place. A lot of coaches, even if you look at the track of number of coaches doing a D license, it is amazing. I think that was 1,000 people. I think more than a lot who attend a lot of webinars and everything. So that itself is, everything is increasing, right? So that allows that as the market is increasing, and that's where you can find a lot more talent coming to the top level. You might find a lot more under 18, under 19s hitting onto the top professional setup. So, and a lot of people coming from urban cities and also being in the top professional circuit as well. So you see a lot more trend coming into picture. So if there is a bigger market, I'm sure a lot of investors will definitely come in, and then that will be able to increase this market into a much bigger, into a much bigger stake, which can be more wealth creation can happen in this particular market.
Nice. So